Da-da. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here with us. As soon as a whole bunch of people come in, I actually am using StreamYard today, guys, because I wanted to connect Facebook, Twitter, of course, YouTube, and Twitch to this interview because I feel like it's so important for people to like see and experience my good friend, High Priestess Extraordinaire Mircha Nino, who's here with me today. So I thank you guys for tuning in. I see one person already so far. And so if you want to just put in the chat like who you are and where you're viewing us from, that would be very good. Phoenix Gibbs here. I am a thought-provoking storyteller who likes to fire under the asses of people to get them moving. As a speaker, hey, Marlette Guyton, good evening. As a speaker, as a published author, anxiety disruptor, and energy resource specialist. And so what I do is I help you disrupt your anxiety. I help you strengthen your mind so that you can actually experience mental well-being and functional, purposeful living so you can operate in your gifts, whatever that may be to you. And so my very special guest, I feel like she needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce her anyway. From San Antonio. Okay, cool. This is High Priestess Mircha Nino. I met her last year through a good friend of ours, Martine Mayes, who's another amazing author. Shout out to Martine. And she has such a beautiful spirit. And when I started doing my YouTube live stream, she was like the first person that my spirit guys was like, yeah, you need to get her on there. So, of course, I'm obedient and be disciplined and, you know, being able to say, hey. So Corey says, bonsoir, and he's from California. We have JB from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Okay. Alex, good evening, ladies. So introduce yourself, Mircha, tell the people who you is and what you be doing up in these streets.
Well, my name is Mircha Nino. I am a voodoo priestess. In my lineage, what they call me, well, what Papa Loco gave me the name as, which Papa Loco in our voodoo lineage, he's the one that gives the asa. All right. I've been doing this for over 20 years.
Wow.
But I grew up actually seeing it because my mother and my aunt would always do ceremonies ever since I was a little girl. So I'm most definitely not used to this. I'm most definitely used to this. Okay. But I'm not used to the energy, but I'm going to get used to that. But, my Vanya name, which that's the name that they give you when you initiate, is Soley Bwiye Bon Manbo, which that means is the shining sun.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Because they always give you a name that you go by, which Papa Loco gives you the name when you initiate.
Awesome.
All right. Which is a very precious, precious thing when you initiate. Okay. So, but I've been doing readings since I was 22 years old. Now I'm 43, which I'm happy to say, because a lot of people don't even see the age 43.
Absolutely.
Okay. So yeah, I do a lot. I mean, I make my own candles. I help with guiding others to the right path that they should go on. And all these things, I actually got them out of dreams. I didn't read a book. I didn't have to go searching for it. When it is yours, it is yours. And you will have that true connection regardless to anything that you do. You understand? So because it's Dambala Edo's birthday very soon, his celebration is March 17th. I have a special on my website when it comes to a very, very powerful and prosperous body spray. And trust me, guys, you do not want to miss this because the original price, which a lot of people have bought it already, was actually $157. So because of his celebration, he lowered it to $78. So trust me when I tell you, go get that spray. If you want upliftment, if you want positive outcomes in your life, I've had people actually get cars off of this, upgrades in jobs, marriage, which I'm very happy to say because I'm all about upgrade. You know, I'm all about for you to just get everything that you need out of life. And whatever, honestly, I always tell people, whatever you wish upon someone else, that's what you will receive, whether it's good or bad. What do you think, Phoenix? I mean, that's what it is.
Absolutely. I highly agree with that 100%. I'll be getting mine soon, girl. Definitely. I've used I've used Mircha's candles and they are absolutely amazing. Like I do multi-purpose wellness products as well. However, for me, I feel like I always need to go to another spiritual sister or brother, not only to support, but sometimes when you use your own stuff, it's like you're so immune to it, you get used to it and accustomed to it, so you have to go get somebody else's stuff. So that's why, and plus I like to support you as well. When was when was the point that you knew that this was your calling, this was your path for you?
Well, every time they would have, and it's crazy to say this, but every time they would have a ceremony, I would run downstairs because my mother would always feel like this is grown people stuff. All the kids stay upstairs. Even if someone comes with their children to assist the ceremony, we would all have to stay upstairs. So we would just sneak downstairs just to see what is going on because it was very interesting to see this.
Right.
So we watch, us and the other children that are there, we're watching everything that's going on. And the spirit would always, whoever's manifested with the loi would always try to grab me and talk to me. And my mother would always try to protect me, like, no, she's too young for this. She's too young for this. So ever since I was younger, I always had a connection with them. When it came to the ancestors, I would hear things, I would see things. And I'm not going to lie to you, one point in time, I thought I was a little off. So I was kind of scared to tell people what I was seeing. But also my other brothers and sister actually saw them too. So we would talk about it like, oh, you saw that too? You experienced that as well? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I know I'm not going crazy. So as I got older and I would constantly have dreams about the ancestors and they would give me messages, just be careful with this person. Don't go there. Be careful on what you say. Just little things like that would actually happen. And I'm so thankful to them. Because regardless of all the people that we've seen come and go growing up, people that we grew up with. And mind you, I have 7 brothers and 1 sister between my mom and my dad.
Wow.
We're all still here. We're all still here. And I'm so thankful to the ancestors when it comes to that. I thank them every day because of it. Every day.
Speaking of ancestors, and I know there's certain things you can talk about, certain things you can't talk about. So I want to put the disclaimer out there. When it comes to the ancestors, what makes it so significant and special to you when you're connecting with them? Like, what is that for you? What does it do for you?
It's a lot of obedience. There's certain things that I don't prefer doing that they're like, no, you're going to do it. Because this is to better someone else.
Yeah.
They would show to strangers that I don't even know. And I'm like, I'm not going to go up to that person and tell this person this, that, and the third. This person don't even know me. Like, so I would get a little shy when it comes to that. And I'm like, this person doesn't know me. I'm not going to inbox this person because I see this, that, and the third. And they're like, no, you're a messenger. You have to put that message out there. And you have to be obedient because you don't know what you're doing to help this person.
Yeah.
Off of possible suicidal thoughts, off of making maybe a bad decision that they're about to make. So you need to warn that person. Just don't look at it in a human aspect, look at it in the spiritual aspect.
Yes.
Because you're helping this person. You're not being judgmental. This is not your own opinion. So take the human feelings out of it.
Yes.
You're humbly going to this person and you're just giving them the message. And that's all that we are asking you to do. And I started getting better with that throughout the years because I was actually in my early 20s and I would see things about people, but I don't want to say anything.
Yep.
Then unfortunately something would happen to this person. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they actually warned me and I didn't say anything. So that kind of gave me a kick in the butt. Like, okay, you're doing, like, don't do this. Do right by this person and at least let them know. And I always tell people, listen, I'm just a messenger. Please do not kill the messenger because that's all I'm doing is giving you a message so that you could just go down the right path. It's completely up to you because we all have free will. It's up to you if you want to take that advice or, what I'm giving you, that message that I'm giving you from a higher being and whatever happens, happens. It's either you go down the right path or you just slip and fall.
Yep. That part.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, You just got to stay humble and just do what you have to do, because a lot of times, every time I do a live, I always tell people, you know, which I can't even take any more friends on Facebook. So I already relaunched. Yeah, it's like so many people on my page already. So I'm like, okay. So I already relaunched a Mircha Nino High Priestess on Facebook, so they could also find me on there. And on Instagram, they can find me on Mircha_Nino.
Yeah,
they can find me there as well. And when I do my lives, I always let people know. Obedience is key.
Absolutely.
Obedience is key, because we have a time to suffer. We have a time to have enlightenment. We have a time to forgive. There's a time for everything. We have a time to be serious, and we have a time to play.
Absolutely.
But the most important time is forgiveness.
Yes.
The most important time is when you're about to receive a blessing and they're opening the gates up for you. So if you have a high priestess or a high priest that's telling you, listen, this is what you have to do because your gate is about to open. You have to do this, this, that, and the third. If they do not, and this is very important to everyone that's listening and watching, if they do not give you a time frame, ask the high priestess, ask the high priest, what is the time frame do I have to do so and so? Because your ancestors will give you a time frame as to when you need to do either a ceremony, do a cleansing, if you need to do whatever that you need to do so you can receive that blessing without any blockage.
Absolutely.
But if you don't take part of what they're saying to you and you just dismiss it, that time frame for that blessing will close on you.
Exactly. Because I remember you and I had a discussion when you did my reading for me, and she's exceptional when it comes to readings. And I had to process it and sit with it. And the one thing that I truly, truly loved about you with your authenticity and your essence is you let me know when you'll know when you're ready and when it's your time to elevate and do what it is you're supposed to do. And that meant the world to me because, you know, we were talking about this the other day about just people within the spiritual industry itself and the community, how things can even go good or they could either go bad, and how it is with just so many different things going on right now. And so that really meant a lot to me. And when I often speak about you, I always speak about you in such a positive light, because I feel you're so very genuine and authentic and yet real at the same time, really raw, because you got the New York in you and stuff. Right. But it's genuine to come across someone who is a high priestess that knows exactly what she's doing. And she has such a love for people. And sometimes it's very rare to find that, because for me, like, I've gotten so many emails and inboxes from different people, and they're like, oh, let me do the reading for you, and the ancestor said this, and I'm like, no, I speak to my ancestors all day. I know what you're talking about. So
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. So it's just definitely using the discernment and being very real and raw. And there was something that you said the other day about when people come to you and, you know, you are very obedient and disciplined in how you listen to your luau's and your ancestors. And when they tell you this person isn't ready, or yes, this person's ready, but this is how things need to go. And I think that's so important. And I feel like that's what sets you apart from so many different people out there. And that's why you're so blessed, because you're very authentic with it. You're very transparent with it. It's not like, okay, well, I'm going to do this and do that because it's my benefit. But you really, really are very conscious about how you do things. Yeah. And I appreciate that a lot, because not a lot of people are like that in no way, shape, or form. You know, you're intention-based and a lot of people are agenda-based. You know, so I was going to ask you what was it like when you first picked up a deck of cards and started reading? Like, what was your first experience?
Well, the first time I picked up a pair of cards, it was with my cousin, because my cousin, she knew how to do cards so well. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was very intriguing to me, because I'm looking at her and I'm like, you do the cards so well. How do you do that? Because it's like, you know, because normally I don't really use cards. The only time that I actually use cards is if the person is, you know, long distance away from me. Yes. So, or If I'm doing it over the phone, I just need to touch base with their energy.
Yep.
So
That was
once
us.
I
That was
beat the
us.
cards, exactly. Once I beat the cards with their name and they are saying their name, that's the energy that I'm receiving. So I'm like calling on to the spirits when it comes to that. But normally I would just see someone and just start reading them. And they're like, oh my God. Like it kind of annoyed a couple of people when I was younger. It annoyed a couple of people like, ew. Like, you know, I didn't want her to know my business. Well, I'm sorry, it's not me, it's the spirits.
Right. Exactly.
But when I saw my cousin doing the cards, I'm like, wow, this is quite interesting. I'm like, can I see them? And she's like, sure. And I'm trying to read the cards but she's telling me what every card means. But she's like, no, concentrate. You'll see a story between the cards. So she was the one that actually opened up my psyche when it came to the cards.
Wow.
She opened up my psyche to see. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's like, you could almost even see the cards moving.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like it's already giving you a message because like I stated before, take out your feelings when it comes to the human feeling. Because when you're doing this, you're not doing it with a human ability. You're doing it with a spiritual ability. So you have to shift your energy to that spiritual energy when you're doing the Because I've heard a lot of people say, well, I'm not confident enough. I'm scared to do it. If you're afraid to do it, don't do it. Because your fear is stopping your third eye from opening.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
You have to be relaxed when you're doing it because you are not the one that's giving the message. It's the higher masters, the higher beings that is talking through you. Because honestly, a lot of people don't know it's in the back of your neck that the spirit actually channels, and then it goes to the front to your third eye.
Yes.
From the back of your neck to your third eye. So a lot of the times when you're doing a reading, the best thing to do is always take some Florida water or rose water or any good smelling cologne and you put it behind the back of your neck. You put it on your third eye. You massage it, put it in the back of your neck and on your third eye. See, little things like that, I don't mind. Little things like that, I don't mind guiding and giving those kind of information. But you do have people out there that won't tell you anything to just keep you safe and needing them. Why? That's my thing. Why stop someone?
That's how I feel as an anxiety disruptor and a coach. I don't want you to depend on me. I want to give you skills and different types of techniques to independently know how to go through your process when you're having an anxiety episode, to say to yourself, okay, this is going to be released from me in 2.5 seconds because I own myself. I own my mind and my brain. I know how to strengthen myself moving forward. It's anxiety. I know that I'm safe. I know that I'm well. All is well with me. And I teach people those tools. So, we have our little session together. Could be 1 session, 3. And then I'm like, all right, peace, you do your thing. And I feel like sometimes in the coaching industry where I come from, oftentimes the coaches extend sessions because of the financial aspect, but it's like, I don't want anyone to depend on me. I want you to find your own sense of power, stand in that power, your own sense of identity, stand in that identity. And as a coach, for me, it's like having the integrity and respect to see you as a spiritual being, having a human experience, guide you in that way so that you know that this is the direction you're supposed to take, but not have you depend on me for stuff like that, because it's not my job. I'm not responsible to fix you, so to speak. You got to be willing, ready, and able to go through the process of walking through the fire, walking through the coal, and going through the process of doing your work, of confronting yourself, those inner demons, to feel them, but also to heal from it in a very powerful, beautiful way and see what's possible, knowing that you are possible, that there's a different perspective. And so when it comes to what you do too, I could only imagine that people are like, Misha, and you're like, nah, dude, like you need to.
Yeah. And it's the most craziest things too, the most craziest questions. And I'm like, should I really put my energy into this? Because we spoke about this several times already.
Exactly.
And by you doing that, while I was growing up, a lot of people used to tell me, you know what, you need to be like one of those people that do like the inspirational speaking, because you always uplift people.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, well, that's the energy that I like to stay in, is uplifting. Because you'll have people that will try to break you down.
Yep.
You know, that will try to break down your spirit. And that's only someone that doesn't love themselves that would do that, because misery loves company.
Absolutely. They're just projecting what they're feeling onto other people so that you can get it and they feel better about themselves. And then that energy goes into you and they suck your energy from you.
Okay.
I get it.
So I'm like, no, that's what I like to do. That's the kind of energy that I like to stay in, because when you stay at your most highest energy, that's when you can feel your ancestors around you. Yeah. That's when it can speak to you more clearly. That's when the divine light can make it. People would say, oh, I'm not even, one time, and it was recently that I was walking with my children. We were going to a supermarket, and this older lady approached us and said, oh my gosh, you guys are shining bright today. Where you guys from? And I told her, Haitian. She was like, oh my gosh. She was like, you guys are shining so bright. Because I teach my children the same thing.
Absolutely.
Always uplift people. Because whatever you put out into the energy, that's what you will receive. Yep. Just like any work that you do with for anyone, you have to put your all into it. Yep. Because once you give them that kind of energy, they will receive it. And there's nothing that's going to be in their way, no negative energy that will be in their way when it comes to them getting what they need out of life. Absolutely. You know, spiritually, financially, physically, nothing. Mentally, nothing. I always let people know, I will give you a spark, but it's up to you on how bright you want to shine.
Exactly.
I'll give you everything, because then I will be giving all of me, and I cannot do that.
Absolutely.
And it takes a lot of energy when you're doing these ceremonies, such as the ceremony that we do that's called illumination. And illumination is like illuminating the person's way, because they're confused, they don't know what to do, where they go at this point in time.
Right.
Then you have a lavetet, which a lavetet is kind of like a mini initiation. It's not as elongated, or there's certain things that I have to be careful not to say. It's not as elongated as an actual initiation, but it's
it's not as intense. It's not as intense.
Well, it's not intense, it's intense for us, but not the actual initiate, because there's so many things that have to go on every day while this person is repenting. So it's a very, very beautiful experience that helps you to have endurance mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Yeah.
It brings you to one.
Yeah.
Okay? It brings you to one with your ancestors. So when we do a lavetet, it's basically a washing of the head to clear out anything that is giving you any kind of spiritual blockage, and it aligns your ancestors to align with your chakras. So it's easier for you to get messages from your ancestors. Like, it's much quicker for you to manifest and to help someone when you see they have a problem. So basically, it's a clearing of the head. All right. And you also have, when you go to initiate as supun, which you're not a full-blown voodoo priest or priestess as a VA, but you're more of an assistant, but there's certain things that you will learn, such as illumination, like I stated, to give light to someone.
Right.
You will be able to do a table of grace when you're just asking your ancestors for a period of time so that they can guide you to what you really need to do. So they'll give you, the funds. You'll be able to speak to them clearly and properly if the person does it right.
Right.
Because I'm from horror stories.
Right. And that's the thing too. Because me and you talked the other day, and I know a couple of people who've done initiations and stuff with different spiritual communities, and the experience for them was a really, really bad one. And so, like, for me, I'm very particular and meticulous about who I'm around, especially when it comes to spiritual community, because of the things that I've heard. and the things that I've seen. And so it's exceptionally important for anyone who wants to be involved in this to like really, really do their homework, do their research, connect with the person, get to know them on a deeper level to understand why they do the things that they do. Why are they in this? You know, is it for a trend because you see everyone else doing it? Or is it really something that your spirit is calling you to do? Because this is not for everyone. It's not for the faint of heart at all. Because I know as an empath and as a light worker and a healer, there's so much that comes with it. It could be so uncomfortable at times. Even though it's beautiful, it's uncomfortable. The emotions, the grieving, the different things that we experience that sometimes is out of our control, but we have to go through the process. And people are sitting here like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to do the tarot and I'm going to sage and I'm going to do this. Why are you doing it for? Do you understand why you're doing it?
That part. That part. But you also do have a lot of people, like you stated, think it's a trend. Like it's so cool. Oh my gosh, you actually see that? Oh my. We don't only see the good, but we also see the bad.
Yes. Oh, yes.
We see the bad. We see the suffering. We see what we have to pull out of this person because of something that they either put themselves into or something that is someone that's hateful that threw something on them. Yeah. So trust me, it is backbreaking work at times.
It is backbreaking work.
Yeah, and you have to use your everything. Mentally, physically, spiritually, you have to put your everything into saving this person's soul because you're dealing with people's lives.
Yeah. Plus the fact that you got to go through cleansing.
We are doctors, which I'm not giving no disrespect to doctors and the science of it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we are doctors. We are counselors. We're friends. We're, spiritual mothers or fathers. You understand? Which we are guiding the person down the proper path that they should go into. You know what I mean? But don't get me wrong. Some are very good, voodoo priestesses and priests. Some really do not care. And I've heard a lot of horror stories where they would just take your money and you get nothing out of it.
Absolutely.
But guess what? Karma is a
bitch. I'll say it for you. I'll say it for you. I have no problem. And it's just so crazy that you mentioned that because I see, like, we were talking the other day and I'd scroll on TikTok and I see all these different, kitchen witches and this one and that one. And they're doing all these things and sharing all this information. And it's like, you don't give people things to do if they don't know what they're doing, because you could ruin a person's life. You can cause them all types of grief. You have no idea. So to sit there and be like, okay, well, take Florida water and take this potion and this motion and you're going to be rich, or, do this and do that. Like, I would never put anything on social media, because if the person doesn't know what they're doing, you don't know what type of portals and doors you may be opening. You have no idea. So it's definitely making sure that you're taking responsibility, spiritual, emotional, mental responsibility. You have to.
Yeah. And it takes a lot, because sometimes some people are more quicker to understand than others. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just have to constantly repeat yourself, like, no, don't do it that way, do it this way. Right. But people do as they will, because you have free will. You're going to do what you want, regardless.
Exactly.
But there are people out there that you will specifically let them know you have a time frame from thorn to storm.
Yeah.
And then when things don't work out for them, they want to turn around and look at you. Yeah. And it's like, oh, sweetie, I'm the messenger. I told you exactly what it was. There was no misunderstanding. I didn't hide anything from you, but you didn't take it seriously. So if things are falling between the cracks for you, that's not on me. You need to look at yourself when it comes to that. And a lot of people don't like to do that. They just they'd rather blame someone else than look at self. Like, revalue yourself.
Yeah.
Evaluate. I didn't put you there, honey. I told you exactly what it was, and you still didn't listen.
Yeah. And that's how I feel when it comes to accountability and responsibility for the actions and the roles that we play in our lives. You can't blame other people for certain things that happen to you, because you have to understand and realize too, sometimes you create those things by the way that you think, the way that you feel about yourself, or as well as other people. You can create your karmic debt, as they say, with how you speak and feel. So if they're coming to somebody like you to get some work done, but they don't follow your instructions, what do you think is going to happen? And especially if you're not doing it from a place of intention with a pure heart and open mind, it's not going to work the way that you think so. You have to like fully wholeheartedly believe in the information. They have to believe the information that you're giving them, or else it doesn't work either. And that's the problem with people. Yeah, when I paid $1,000 and she said blah 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 blah, I'm like, yeah, but did you understand the assignment? Did you understand? Did you do everything from point A to point B? Right.
You know, did you follow through? If you have, because I always let everyone know, if you have a question, please, you have my number. Do not hesitate.
Yes.
Even if you call me and you don't get me, text me. I will answer you when I can, but I will not leave you hanging as to where I'm ignoring you, which I deal with so many people on a daily basis.
I bet.
So I have to constantly cleanse myself. Like the things that I have on my website, I use them daily. I cleanse myself with the cleansing that I have on my website. I spray myself with the Dumbala perfume every day. Why? Because I've been using these things before they gave me the permission to actually put it out there for the general public.
Exactly.
And it works.
It does.
A lot of people that use my products, they're like, this is so crazy. Like, and you're selling it for, do you know how many mambos came up to me and they were so upset? Like, why are you selling these things so cheap? And I'm like, because I'm obedient. I have to listen to what the law is telling me, what our ancestors are saying. I'm not going to go above them because they know why.
Absolutely.
Because I get blessed much more than they can ever imagine because they give me everything.
Yeah. And to piggyback off of what you just said, the same thing with me as an anxiety disruptor and coach and author and so on and so forth. I go based on what my guides tell me as well when it comes to pricing and so on and so forth, because in the coaching industry, they're like, oh, you need to charge $5,000, $10,000 per person. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's all good. But that doesn't sit well with my spirit. It doesn't sit well with my soul. And on top of that, too, there was this speaker, his name is King Hollis, and he was saying the other day in one of his videos that I listened to, he was like, I see all these motivational speakers speaking to the rich, speaking to, you know, people who have money. What happened to the people that are broken? What happened to the people who live in the projects? What happened to the people who are like not having the money? Like they need motivation too. They need upliftment and inspiration too. What happened to those people? Why is there always a separation between high ticket paying clients than people who are not high ticket but are still special, are still very important, are still who they matter as well? There's always some way of where you can help someone if you're called to be a healer, speaker, leader, whoever the case may be. There's always a way to help everyone. There should not be a form of segregation where this person is rich and they're going to pay me $10,000, so I'm going to give them the information, as opposed to this person over here only have $10, so I'm not going to give them the information. But what if that person is having a really hard time and is about to be on the ledge and about to jump? That person needs an opportunity to know that someone cares about themselves, that someone loves them. And the way that things are set up in the world right now is crazy to me. And I'm both in the spiritual and the coaching industry. And it really boggles my mind. And the fact that you said that you listen and you're obedient to people saying the pricing, I get the same thing too. Why are you charging, you know, only a specific amount of money for your coaching sessions or your products or your books? Because the right people that are supposed to come to me are the ones I'm supposed to set the prices for, so they can get what they need. Point blank.
But also you will get a blessing in a wave of a multitude. That none of these human beings that are telling you, well, why are you doing it like this? Why don't you worry about what you're doing?
Right.
Because I'm worried about what you're doing. You know, because they see that they can actually get these clients on a much more higher level. Okay. Could be don't tell me what to do. I do not listen to human beings. I listen to the most high divine energy.
Absolutely.
The most high God. And if he tells me, well, you know what? Do this for $77.
Right.
put that down for this amount. Because the blessing I will receive is not from that individual. The blessing that I will receive will be coming from the Most High God.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I always tell people, yes, I actually got my first house when I was 26 years old.
Wow.
I got my second one when I was 33. I got my third one at 43.
Wow.
So they blessed me to the point of no return. Why? Because I don't question them. I don't question the energy that's with me all around me.
Yeah.
So if I tell someone something and they question it, that means they're not ready for the process. They're not ready for the upgrade that is coming their way. If you're afraid, don't do it yet. You're not ready, because you're not going to receive all the blessings that's supposed to come your way because you're afraid of that blessing.
Yeah. And a lot of people are fearful. A lot of people are fearful to step into their gifts, step into operate in their gifts and their calling. It's that fear, and it's the conditioning from way back when our parents and our grandparents, they not instill that fear in us, but if you notice how they were, you just adapted to it immediately. So it's learning how to, I always say, you're going to be scared, yeah, but just fuck it and jump anyway.
Jump.
Just jump. Just jump.
Yeah.
You know,
do it.
You know? So for me, like Steve Harvey said, your parachute ain't going to jump, ain't going to open the first time. You're going to get a couple scratches and a couple bruises, maybe a couple broken bones, but you're still going to get up, and then your parachute's going to open. But you never know what God has in store for you unless you don't jump. You got to just do it. He's
such a wonderful mentor, because where he came from and where he is now, you would want to listen to someone like him. And in all actuality, he was the one. I was listening to an interview with him a couple of years ago. And he said, you know what helped me get out of the streets? Because he was sleeping in his car. He said what got him out of the streets was praying. And I said, amen to that. And he stated, go to Isaiah 54. Until this day, sis, I have been reading Isaiah 54 faithfully.
Wow.
Faithfully. And when I mean it really works, but a lot of people believe in hope. I don't believe in hope. You know why? Because there's people that would say, well, I hope so. The way they use the word kind of makes me shaky. And I'm like, no, it's not hope so. So I really don't believe in hope. I believe in faith.
Yep, absolutely.
Because faith is more stronger than hope. When you have full faith on what you are doing, and you do not let any negative energy sway you left or right, you just stand strong, that's when you receive the blessings coming to you with such an abundant flow, no one will be able to stop you. No one will be able to shake you.
The other thing I tell people, stop half-ass praying. Stop half-ass praying. If you're going to pray wholeheartedly. Don't half-ass pray and say, oh God, this, oh God, that. And just don't come to God and your ancestors and your spirit guides when you need or want something. You have to be, yes, it has to be spiritual reciprocity across the board. You just don't do it when you need this or you're in a bind or whatever. Like, let them know how much you appreciate their presence. Let them know how much you honor them. Let them know that you appreciate all of the shit that they had to go through when they were here in the physical world before they left to go to the spiritual world. Let them know that their legacy that they created for you was not in vain, and how you show up every single day. That's how it has to be. You just don't go to God and your guides when, oh my God, I'm in a bind, help me. It's supposed to be something that you do every day, like when you take your vitamin, prayer, and connecting with them every day, because it's part of your being. It has to be a part of your DNA. It should be.
I know that's right. Let me tell you, I've had someone that wanted to pray. You know, we were doing a prayer session, you know, a couple of years ago, and this person wanted to pray. I said, go ahead, take the floor, because, you know, I never stop people from doing whatever is positive. Go ahead, take the floor. That was the biggest mistake I've ever did.
Ooh,
why? Wow. Because the person's prayer sounded like it was something that was written and just being stated like no kind of feeling. It was just a repetitive thing that they possibly do every day. But where was the energy?
Mm-hmm.
What were you drawing in? There was nothing that you were actually drawing into us or to you, because it sounded like something you just wrote and you just saying it just to say it.
Scripted.
That's not how you manifest things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't understand. When it comes to manifestation, you have to see it, you have to breathe it, you have to believe it.
You gotta live
That's
it.
what manifestation is.
You gotta
And if
live
we're
it.
standing there, if we're standing there and I don't feel no vibration, I don't feel anything, I'm gonna thank you for what you just did, which it was really nothing,
Mm-hmm.
humbly, but I'm gonna take over and really bring the vibration that we need.
Absolutely.
What we are doing.
Absolutely.
Everybody has to feel the vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? And that's why a lot of people, they're like, oh, they would ask me questions like, oh, before I buy the candle, is it just a generic candle? No, it is not.
What
You know
kind
what I mean? Generic candles are candles that you can get from the botanical store.
Yes.
That are generated in a factory with just wax and glass,
Mm-hmm.
or just wax and a wick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The candles that I prepare, your name is being recited in front of the divine to bring you blessings. The ingredients that are going into these candles are prosperous herbs and ingredients that are going into the candles. So trust me, I have to put all my vibration and energy into the candle, into the body sprays that I do. And if anybody want to go on there, it's www.mirchanino.com.
I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Mirchanino.com. Trust me, there is something on there that you will find that can help. I have spiritual sheets when it comes to our ancestors, when it comes to the bebes. Okay? It's like, sis, there's so many things that we can actually really talk about and just go into depth of what
Absolutely
it is. It's like one interview would not even cover what these lois are really about.
So let's go through this. Let's break down give us the misconception about voodoo and the loas, because there's so many misconceptions and lies based off of what people have thought it is or haven't experienced it, but because of society or social media or colonization or westernization or whatever the case is, let's break down what those misconceptions are. So if anyone is drawn to it, but because of the misconception, they're afraid to step into it, what would that look like?
Well, actually, this started in slavery times.
Yeah.
Because when they put us on those boats, which I'm not saying us, but I'm saying our ancestors, when they put our ancestors on those boats and brought us into a new world, this was something that we were not used to. Our ancestors were not used to it. Mm-hmm. So they brought us into different climate. They made our ancestors suffer. Of course, they're going to take a couple of Congo tribes and a couple of Daomé tribes that do not have the same language or dialect. They're going to put you guys together because they don't want you communicating with your fellow man. Mm-hmm. So what it was when it came to voodoo, especially in Haiti, because I can't really speak for anywhere else but Haiti. When it came to voodoo, what we did is we still kept our culture. Mm-hmm. But the slave masters, what they were doing, they were actually killing off Mambos and Mungas because they didn't want us to continue with our religion. Well, it's not religion, but it's a way of life for us. Yeah. Because we respect the earth, the water, the land, and fire. We go, and there's laws that go with every element. A lot of people don't understand that. There's laws that go with every element there is. And we respect that. We respect the earth that God put us on. Mm-hmm. Just like the indigenous Indians. Mm-hmm. It's the same way. You know what I mean? Which we had indigenous Indians in the Caribbean islands as well that we all also mixed with. Yes. You know what I mean? They always say, oh, they wiped them out. No, it's a lie. They did not wipe them out. It's not the truth. They did not wipe them all out. But his history, his story will always be the story. Yep.
Yep.
And even when it came to the soldiers, a lot of the Buffalo soldiers were actually Haitian, but they'll never tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the soldiers that, because me and you were speaking about that one time, where finally they did something, a monument for the Haitians that actually came and helped America be America. But as you can see,
that's in Savannah. You know that, right?
Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. And me and you were speaking about it, and we were like, wow, like, but we have to give ourselves the importance.
Yes.
Because no one else will. We have to teach the next generation that, because it's not in the textbooks, and they'll never put it on there unless we make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
We have to come together and say, well, tell the true story, not just his story.
Exactly.
Because they'll say all the poor parts, like, oh, they enslaved us, they raped us. Because what's so sad is that my daughter came to me, and she's in the 11th grade. She came to me the other day, and she said, Mommy, you know what they're teaching us in school now? And I said, what is it? Well, they're teaching us that, there were people, which everybody knows what it is. I don't need to say what race it was.
Yeah.
That went to Africa, and they were raping virgins, and they were raping children, and it was just horrible. And I'm like, they teaching you this in school? And she said, yeah, Mommy. And I'm like, why would they do that? Why don't they teach you? They'll never teach you the Black people that invented the traffic light. My daughter didn't even know that. It was me that taught her all these things, my daughter and my son. The inventors, the one who made the light bulb. They'll say it's Edison, but it was not.
Yep.
And ever since slavery times, they will suppress you.
Yep.
From the kings and queens that you came from, they will suppress you. So because of that, they made voodoo look so ugly. When it's actually a loving culture where brother and sister take care of each other. You have to help your fellow man. If you see someone sick and lacking, you have to help them. That is what voodoo is about. But they took voodoo, they put zombies in it. Hollywood just killed people that don't care about voodoo.
Yes.
I'm not saying that there isn't, no things in voodoo. But there's good and bad in everything. Like yin and yang.
Absolutely. It's like when I was younger, I actually watched this movie called The Serpent and the Rainbow. And I was just like, come on now, And so you're right, when Hollywood emphasizes and embellishes and puts their own spin on something which they have no idea what it is, as opposed to like really having the experience of going into it. But it's just crazy how that happens. And you're absolutely right where that's concerned. And even for me, because my father's side of the family is Haitian, so I'm half Haitian. And my father's side of the family, they really don't want to be involved in it. They don't accept it, embrace it, part of the heritage and the culture and the practice and so on. And me growing up with my mom being from Belize and being in New York and Belize, I've never really had the opportunity to really experience my Haitian culture. I had the food, I love the music and so on and so forth, but to like really, really get into speaking the language and really getting to connect with my ancestry or the culture itself, like I've never had the opportunity to do that. So,
so the music. So you know how to get down with that compa.
Oh yeah, of course, compa. Of course. Yeah, Zouk. Yeah, hell yeah, it's on my playlist. Right. So for me, it was just exceptionally important that I learn all of the things that I'm learning from my ancestors and whatnot, because I have my grandparents up on my altar. I have one uncle who came to me, revealed himself to me rather, when I was on Facebook looking for pictures of my grandparents when I was putting my altar together. And so I'm going through this page and there's something in me like, you're not finished with the page yet. Keep looking. And this picture popped up and I'm like, who is this person? So the next day I called my dad and I'm like, who's Uncle Edner? And he got exceptionally quiet. And I was like, he gives me life of the party and he's this person, but he's very straightforward and he smokes cigars and blah, 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 blah. And my father got so quiet and he was like, oh, he used to be a voodoo priest in Haiti. I'm like, all right, that makes fucking perfect sense why he would be all up in my spirit. But my dad, after that, never wanted to have the conversation. Like my family, they don't want to have conversations about it. And it's just like, oh, no, don't go to Haiti and don't do this and don't do that. But I'm very much the type of person that I'm always wanting to experience different things. And I know like that's part of who I am. It's in my DNA. It runs, the blood runs through my veins.
Mm-hmm.
So it's having a willing openness to learn and to grow and not go based off of how they feel or based off of the misconceptions of what society has pegged on the culture or, the life of what it is. So it's so exceptional for me. Like whenever I come across different people from different diasporas, like Santeria, Lukumi, or whatever it is, so I prefer to sit down and have a conversation with them and say, oh, how did you get into this? And what does this mean to you? What does it represent? Like, how does it make you feel? And how do you connect with your ancestors and your guides? Because I feel like it's exceptionally important that we do that even more so now in the days that we're living in.
And it's really sad. It's really sad. And they take that, energy and, they put it down with their children and, but, when it comes to a lot of Haitian people, they would rather do it. They would rather do it in more of
a private setting.
Yeah. No one has to know that we do this.
Yes.
And it's why our culture, this is what brought us independence. You always claiming that we're so independent. Haiti is the first independent, and they're so happy about that, and they're proud about that, but you don't want to accept how we became independent. Absolutely. And it was with our ancestors. It was with them calling on to the lois at Wakaini that actually revved up our ancestors, and they were like, we're not taking this no more. So with the energy of our ancestors and the energy of our lois, they fought the French. But it's almost like contradicting, because you want to say that you're proud, but you're not proud of our culture. That you're not proud of. And I just feel like there's just a lot of contradicting and fake people when it comes to that. And that's just my opinion, and it's an honest opinion.
Yeah,
because
it is.
Why be proud of something, but you don't want to be proud of all of it?
Absolutely.
If you're going to be proud of something, be proud of all of it. The reason why the flag is standing, and the reason why we were the first independent, Black nation of people, is because of our ancestors, because of the laws that they called down, because of the sacrifices that they made for the laws that brought us to where we need to be. But you don't want to thank them. You don't want to do anything for them, but that's how they get into problems as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why they have a lot of family members that would just die off for no reason, and they don't know what. Like, they don't understand why these people are dying off, because you are not making your lineage stronger. You're not paying attention. So what brought you to where you are now? You feel like you better than, so they just put their hands up.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
But you know what? My family were like that too, because they're very bougie, having money, people. I can't take that away from them. They're very mixed, so they're very bougie and this and that. And when I started putting, law things up, that I'm a mambo and things like that, they were very upset. And they were like, oh, we don't do those things. You have to, even if you are into that, you have to be quiet. You have to believe in God, because they think that you don't believe in Jesus, or I don't really call him Jesus because that's not his name. Me personally, his name is Yahshua.
Yeah.
I'm like, I do believe in God. I do believe in Jesus and Yahshua. I don't believe in him the way that you believe in him. I believe in him as who he shows me to be, is the conquering lion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Lion of Judah. Because I would normally see a lion just walking around my house, because there was a time that I really didn't know self, because there was so much power coming to me that I felt I was out of it. And you will go through those kind of transitions the more higher you go in ranking. So I'm like, God, I don't understand why all of these things are happening to me. So I told him, show me who I am. And if you ask them to do that, they will show you.
Absolutely.
Ask for, because you don't know if you're going to be able to handle what they showed me. But I asked the question and I got my answer. I started seeing lions. I started seeing panthers in my house. I started seeing panthers on my property, you know, tigers. And I'm like, what is going on here? What is going on here? They're like, you wanted to know who you are. And
there you go.
Yeah, you wanted to know, you asked. So we're showing you what is your lineage, where you come from. And
Absolutely.
you come from that lineage of the Lion of Judah. That's where you come from.
That's right.
When it comes to Joshua, in my opinion, he was a Wunga.
Wow.
Because there were ceremonies that he did that he was able to feed the multitude. He had the energy, the power that we as Wungas and Mumbles would normally bring down to help someone else.
Absolutely.
So he had that actual energy to do so. Why? Because he stayed at his most highest level.
And most humble.
Exactly. He never let anyone deter what he saw, the messages that he got from the Most High. And that's Absolutely. The same concept that they taught me. Stay at your most highest level. Don't let no one sway what we tell you. Stay obedient and you will always see all. And it is the actual. But there are some people that are afraid of that.
Yes.
Because they don't know how to forgive themselves. For the things that they've done. Leave that in the past. That is not who you are today. If you believe that is not who you are today, the person that you were yesterday, then you need to just stay focused and look straight. And taking everything that they are given. Taking everything. Don't take half because you're going to feel imbalanced. Accept it all in. All you got to do is just relax and breathe.
Yeah. And surrender.
Surrender.
Yeah.
Just, all right, Lord. If that's what it is, I accept it.
Absolutely.
When you try to make your own plans, that's when you become confused.
And that's why I call it half-ass praying.
Exactly.
Half-ass praying, half-ass manifestation, because on one hand you believe, and on the other hand you're like, I'm gonna do it on my own by myself, even though I asked for the prayer and I wanted it, instead of being patient and waiting for whatever that part, that process is, and just believing in the process is going to take place. It may not happen in your time frame, but it happens when they know that you're ready, because sometimes they'll give you stuff and you're like, what the fuck I'm gonna do with this? I asked for it, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. So it's like, okay, well, when we know you're ready, then we're gonna give you what you asked for.
Yeah, and nothing happens. You know how when people are like, oh, that's a coincidence? No. I don't believe in coincidence. Everything happens at its due timing. Everything happens for a reason. There's no such thing as coincidence. Not in my.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
There's no such thing as coincidence.
Let me segue into something else here. I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to either ask you a question about yourself or ask you a question about, you know, your spiritual journey and such. And within reason, of course, because there's certain things that she can answer and certain things she cannot answer. So if there's anything that you want to know about Mircha, about her journey, just about herself in general, just put it in the chat. And I know there was a couple people on here earlier, but I just wanted to have conversation with you so they get to know you. Some people you already know. Your tribe is on here.
I feel so honored.
We got Corey's on here. Hey, Jackie Melendez, hermana, ¿cómo está? Women Networking Worldwide. You have Marlette. You have your spiritual daughter, Bwiye Bon Manbo.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Oh, thank you for attending.
You have JB Hugan James. Aibobo. And then you got Dance of Sugar Plum Fairy. I have no idea who that is, but okay. You have like 3 questions here. One person says, I need help. My neighbors are throwing lots of things into me out of spite. What should I do? I don't know who that is. 7-8. Maybe it's someone on YouTube who came across the live stream. And then you have someone asking, how do you break a curse that someone may have put on you? And how do you know when the curse is broken?
How do you know when the curse is broken?
Yes. If someone has put a curse on you, how do you know it's broken?
once things get better. Once they can actually see things much more clearly, things aren't being, basically they're upgrading. Once you see that you're upgrading, then there's no curse there. But if you're still seeing that you're going downhill, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't go anywhere. So that's why they would have to, if they feel like someone did something to them and they're just having really bad streak of luck or not being blessed, not being upgraded in any kind of way, they need to see someone, because everybody's situation is different.
Absolutely.
There's not only one way to cleanse somebody. There's not only one way to bless somebody, just like there's not only one way for somebody to curse you. So there's an antidote for every spell. So it's not that simple, like to just generalize, ask a question like, if somebody curses me, what should I do? There's different curses. I can tell you to do one thing and it may not work for you. That's why this person would actually need a reading. And if they were reading from me, they can contact me. I only deal with WhatsApp, though. I do not deal with regular phone. You know what I mean? Because they like to go crazy. So they can always hit me up on WhatsApp at 347-479-2187. Once again, it's 347-479-2187. If anyone wants to conduct a reading, they can contact me on WhatsApp.
Well, I know this person personally, so I could just connect y'all. I know the person personally.
Okay, you know the person.
What she's asking. So, does anyone have any questions for Mircha that you would like to ask her at this time? Just let us know before we close up the interview. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Who, me?
You.
Yes, but you know what? I just want to let everyone know, please do not deny your true calling. Just be yourself. Don't watch anyone else or what anyone else is doing. If you see that you are intrigued and want to know about voodoo, that I can understand. You can learn about voodoo. But if you are not chosen, please do not run after a path that you are not chosen in, because a lot of the times when you go into something that was not chosen for you, it can harm you in many ways. In many ways, shapes, and forms. Because I've heard people say, well, I tried to do something for Papa Legba, which Legba is the road opener for us. And this person was not supposed to work with Papa Legba whatsoever. And he got that. Do not call on to spirit, even though they are our ancestors, they are high deities and things like that, but do not call onto a spirit that does not walk with you, because that spirit can harm you. That spirit can hurt you. If you want to acknowledge the spirits, you can. You can acknowledge them, give them their respects. Just like Baal, which he is the gatekeeper of the cemetery. And there's a lot of people that love Baal Samedi. I don't blame them. He's a very big spirit. He's a very powerful spirit. You understand? When it comes to us, the voodoo lineage, he's very intriguing to even look at, because he's so debonair. But if he did not call onto you, and if you do not know how to deal with him, he will take you on the other side with him.
My thing with that too is, I know when I'm connected to my spirit guides, because they show me so many different things. Like with, for instance, Isis, I've known that I was connected to her because I felt her energy. And then also Oshun, like I kept seeing sunflowers all over the place. Everywhere I freaking go with sunflower. It was just crazy. So I'm like, all right, I want to, cool. Or even my uncle Edner, I love him so much. Like, I know that he was connecting with me. If they resonate with me and they connect with me and I feel their energy, then yeah. But if it's somebody that I don't know, I've never come in contact with, I'm just like, you cool, but I'm gonna be the chick over here to the left.
Exactly. And I do have a lot of people that, I just want to learn about, okay, great. You can learn about them. But I personally had people that would say, well, I saw it on somebody's page, and I really want to learn about Malasatwa, and I really want to learn about, Trois Femmes d'Egypte, like, the three women. I'm like, you really don't know how dangerous these are.
Yep.
If you call them and they come to you, and they're like, why are we here?
Yep.
What are you going to say to them? Because if they don't come to you face to face, they will eventually come and visit you in dream.
Yep.
And they will ask you, why did you invoke us?
Yep.
Don't be envious of what other people are doing. If you want to learn something, learn about them. If they come to you now and you feel their presence and their energy, and you're constantly having dreams about a certain law or a certain spirit, then that means the connection is there.
Absolutely.
Like you stated how you started seeing, like, the sunflowers and things like that. A lot of people don't know that Ezri Fueda from the Dahomey tribe, you understand, is very much so connected with Oshun. They're the same spirit, because Ezri Fueda deals with yellow too. A lot. And this was something that was told to me by dream. It was nothing that I read in a book, because they showed me what it is. They told me I had to be a teacher. They told me I had to guide people in the proper way that they need to go. So that's what I do as a voodoo priestess. Being a voodoo priestess, like I stated before, you are a doctor, you are a counselor, you are a brother, a sister, a friend, a mother, a father. You're everything to that person, because this person is looking onto you to guide them down the right path. But you will find fortunate people that just doesn't care. And if they won't show you and I keep telling everybody, energy is everything. Energy is everything. And if you feel this person's energy is not for you, back up. Because if they're not for you now, they'll never be for you in the future.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And this is a conversation that I always have with my wife when it comes to my spiritual evolution. And I'm very mindful of who my circle is when it comes to my spiritual journey, because not everybody's for me. And I've had an issue where a lot of people were like, well, who was your godparent, or who did you go to for this and that? I'm like, well, nobody at the moment, but I'm so closely connected with my guides, and they instruct me different things, and I'm very obedient and I listen. And so sometimes I feel like there's a little jealousy around it, because it's like, oh, you didn't go to nobody and all this stuff and you have all these blessings and beautiful things happening to you. For me, it's like I said before, it's spiritual reciprocity with me and my guides. Like, it's a relationship that we build.
No, what it is, when I don't know about any other religion, like, like I said, I can only speak about voodoo. When it comes to voodoo, if you have somebody approach you like, okay, who's your spiritual mother? Who's your spiritual father? And you don't have a comeback for that, there's certain things that they cannot speak to you about. It's like they see where their limitation stops when it comes to speak to you. Because there's certain things, if that person hasn't been initiated, there's certain things I cannot speak to someone about. So when it comes to voodoo, that's the only reason why they would ask you, well, who's your spiritual mom? Who's your spiritual dad? So that they'll feel comfortable, in a sense, to speak to you about certain things. That's on a level that a lot of non-initiates don't know. But when it comes to when it comes to like St.Ulrich or Orisha, you know what I mean? I don't really know, too much about that.
It's kind of like this.
When it comes to Orisha, they do moan, because I have a lot of good friends that deal with Orisha, and a lot of them that want me to step into the Orisha. And if my ancestors permit me to, then I will. Other than that, no.
You stay in your lane.
Permission, exactly. If they do not give me the permission, like, okay, now you can go ahead and do that, I'm not going to step over my permission, because a lot of the Orisha spirits are very similar to the voodoo spirits.
Absolutely.
When, like I said it to you, when it comes to Oshun, that's where. Because she's a water spirit. She's the spirit of the sweet water of the river. That is Fuera. Fuera is the spirit of the sweet water, the river. Yamaya is the, the spirit of, the sea. So is Lasilen. She's the spirit of the sea. So it's very similar.
Right.
It's very similar. The only thing is that when it comes to Haitian voodoo, they break it more down to a science, because we use bevets. So the bevets are like the lining of the stars. That is their sign when it comes to any loi. We would have to put down their veve and trace it either with coffee, either with cornmeal, either with flour.
Right.
We would have to trace it, you know, because that's their sign. That's the energy that you're bringing. You know, that comes from the constellation. You know what I mean? It's more in the depth, deeper science level when it comes to
so it's part of the invocation when you're doing the got it, duly noted. That makes perfect sense, because I often wondered about the veve because it's beautiful. The artwork is lovely when people are doing it, and I've seen it on the sheets and the pillowcases, the whole set that you do. And so I always wondered about, like, when does that take part in it? Is it just a representation of who they are? But when you're explaining it more, it's part of the invocation as well, because that's kind of like a deeper level of connection. That's their staple or their signature, if you will, when you're working with them. So that makes sense.
Yes. And the only reason why you would see, like, you know, Catholic photos with, you know, the lois is, like I stated before, when they brought our ancestors to Haiti, they were killing off the Mumbles and Woongas. So because they kept pushing Christianity upon us, you understand? The French did not want us to be, involved, I'm so sorry, in our own culture.
Yeah.
We had to mask it. So whatever image, like the image of the Virgin Mary, we would take that image and put it as Buena. We would take the energy of, you know, Our Lady of Chicostoa as Dontor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But nobody ever teaches the real depth when it comes to the conquering line of Judah and when it comes to the Black Virgin, because that is actually his mother.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the people of Kush came from where? They came from Ethiopia. The people of Kush are the ones that actually built Egypt.
Yeah.
So Jesus, Yahshua, which a lot of people know him as Jesus, but Yahshua is already intertwined in those things.
Yep.
When it comes to Moses, and when it comes to, you know, the 10 Commandments, Moses got the 10 Commandments actually from the Egyptian scriptures. That's where they came from. There's 101 commandments when it comes to the Egyptians. Moses only took 10. So we have to really understand where we came from as a people. Do you understand? They'll put things in the Bible stating that, oh, there was a problem with, you know, Moses and the pharaohs. No, Moses was an actual pharaoh. So they'll take things and twist it around, and just for you to be so mentally enslaved that you see, for this kind of information, and I always tell people the information that I know, that I was taught of, where they sat me down and actually told me, this is what it is. This is what it is. We're teaching you this. This is the way it goes. I did not learn those things from books. I learned them because I'm in constant meditation. Yep. I pray every day. I pray every day to the Most High God, always, and then I talk to the Lois.
There's a difference.
I talk to them. Exactly. You don't pray to Lois. You talk to them like I would be talking to you.
Right. Absolutely. And you come to them as you are.
You know, but the only one I praise is the Most High God.
Absolutely.
But when I speak to them, they're the ones that come to me and let me know what it is in detail. You know, there's a lot of people like, read a book, write a book. But I'm like, you know what? In due time, when they tell me yes, I will write.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, sometimes
with the information that's in there, I swear, that book would be like $20. Because to break down the lineage that we came from, to break down what the Veves mean to us, and is a part of the constellation, that book would be, it would just blow a lot of people out the box.
It'll be this big.
And it would just blow so many people out the box because I get direct message. When I do a reading, I get direct messages. Direct. There's nothing in the way. So when a lot of people ask me, oh, how do you do so much? You know, you have this, you have that, and plus you do ceremonies, you have your own business, you do readings. They give me the strength, almost a superhuman strength. Even my own husband is like, oh my gosh, you do so much. And it's like, you're still able to just, you know, take a shower, come to bed and relax.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because I believe in what
that. I understand that.
I don't let anyone downplay who I am. I don't let anyone disrespect where I came from. Once I see your energy is an energy that's, you know, shifty or not, you know, all together. If you don't need help and you're not trying to get the help, there's no need to be around. I'm not. I'm very, very, very limited on who I deal with. Very.
Someone
limited.
was asking, how often do you offer, I guess, la vitette?
I do the reading. If the laws are saying that you need a la vitette, then that's what I do. Because there's a lot of people that will say, well, I just need to love it. No. I have to see what the ancestors are saying as to what you have to do. And that's through a reading. Yeah. That's through a reading. So it's not scheduled like, well, yeah, I do my love tests on, you know, every Thursday.
It don't work like that.
No, it doesn't. Because if you have someone doing it like that, oh, trust and believe. Their energy is not on you. This is just something that they're just doing just to do and just to take your money.
And that's a sad thing of
and I think if they have a price list, because I've heard this a lot, when I do my love text for so and so amount, that's the amount I do it for. This is not McDonald's. We're not supposed to have a price list. So if you have someone that has a price list, be careful for that person. And I'm going to be honest. Be careful for that person because it's the spirit that gives the price that you would have to pay. There's people that pay more than others. There's people that pay less than others. But it's what the spirit says you have to pay.
Yep, I agree with that 100%. It can't be Burger King. You can't have it.
Exactly. We all have our own journey.
Yes.
We all have our own journey. Nobody walks our spiritual journey with us but us. So if I have to pay someone else, I can't say, well, why did I not pay that? You cannot do that. Honestly, you're not even supposed to ask the person, well, how much did you pay? You're not supposed to.
But it's different for everyone. It can't be cookie cutter because everyone's different. They're on a different journey. Their assigned laws or deities are different from another person. So it can't be the same thing for the same person because the outcome is not going to work the way it's supposed to. It's not going to benefit the person and what it is the purpose is. So it can't be same price for everyone and so on and so forth. And that's how I am too when it comes to when I'm doing anxiety disrupting or coaching. Every person's price is different.
Exactly.
It's not the same thing because this person's disruption of anxiety may be a little bit different from that person. So I have to like really listen, pay attention to what's being said to me in order for me to help the way that I'm strategically and effectively help the way that I'm supposed to.
Or the situation might be more intense.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you're not going to pay what someone that you just could easily breeze through and that is listening. You're not going to pay the same thing. If I have to focus more on you, the spirits may feel like, you know what? This is the price that you have to give to that person.
Yeah.
That's the price. But it's not, well, you know, Mondays I do lavitettes, Wednesdays I do. It's not that. It's not that. And if they find someone that is like that, which I've heard of it a million times, you're not going to receive nothing positive from that.
And it's like you said, it's harmful that way too, because the person's it's not intentional, it's agenda based, and it's going to be something that's not aligned with what your guides are telling them to do. So it's like, why would I go to someone that's, you know, It's a lot. It's a lot that goes into the work that you do. It's a lot that goes into how you serve your community and, you know, your process, because I know too, because for me too, even though I do coaching and readings and so on and so forth, I'm consistently cleansing myself on a daily basis because it's so much energy that you pick up from people. Even if you don't want to, you're still picking that shit up.
Even if you're talking to someone and you can just be grabbing onto their energy, you're like, I gotta cleanse myself because you're starting to feel unbalanced.
Right.
You know what I mean? So us as spiritual people will automatically pick up on that, like, okay, I'm not feeling too kosher today. So let me do a special cleansing. Let me just cleanse out myself. And this is what I teach a lot of new voodoo priests and priestess, because you have to constantly cleanse yourself mentally, not only physically, but mentally. You have to clear out your space. You have to do a spiritual bath to cleanse yourself. You have to pray. You understand? You have to eat the right things, because just by the way that you eat can almost put you in an imbalance. When you're doing certain work for people, you have to exercise. You have to take care of yourself, because sometimes these energies, these negative energies will knock you down if you don't know what you're doing and if you don't strengthen yourself in every way, shape, and form. Don't think you can just go out there, eat what you want, then you have palpitation, heart problems, and think you're going to be exercising a demon off of somebody. That's not going to happen.
You can't.
It's not, because you're not strong enough to withhold what is about to happen. But to deal with what is about to come. You have to be spiritually in line. You have to take care of yourself physically, spiritually, mentally, your diet, everything. It's very important. It's very important, because this kind of work is extremely tedious. It's tedious. And when people look at it with such envy, like, oh, I wish I had what she had, or I wish we don't, because you just might get that, but will you be able to handle the power that this person has? Do you just want to take 10 steps ahead instead of taking it step by step like I did? I took it step by step. I never envied anyone's position. I'm in my own skin, and I love being in my own skin. As being a spiritualist, you have to love being in your own skin, because you're not going to be able to help anyone if you don't love who you are. How are you going to be able to help someone else? And just like if you having marital problems, not you per se, but if someone is having marital problems, how are you going to help someone spiritually if you're not married? How are you going to help someone with their marital situation when you're single? That is a joke. That is a joke to me. Like, for example, when it came to a young lady that wanted to get married because, you know, her partner didn't take her seriously. I told her, I said, you know what? I did a reading for her, and I said, okay, I'm going to do something very simple. Simple for you. You know what she told me? Please don't charge me like, you know, $2,000 or $3,000 to like do work. I said, no, I'm not, because I already saw that you got burned before and you didn't get anything out of it. I said, just buy 3 Lassian candles, which Lassian has a husband that adores her, meaning Agui, Met Agui, Awu, and 2 Fuera candles, so that man will start to look at you more seriously and adore you, because you are really a good woman. She bought the candles, sis. You will never imagine where she got married. I
bet.
She got married at the beach, and she was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. What did it cost her? $120. I'm not here to be rich off of people. I am here because I have a purpose to help people. And it's when I help people, that's when I receive my blessings.
I say that all the time.
It's when I help others, that's when I receive my blessings. I don't receive my blessings from human beings. I receive my blessings from a much higher power.
Absolutely.
Okay? And trust me when I tell you, I've had people, like I said it before, you know, they had, you know, like there was this one female, she couldn't get pregnant. She wanted a baby for so many years. I told her exactly what to do. Because as being a mother, You cannot be a voodoo priest or a priestess or a practitioner that someone wants to have a baby, but you have no children. There is no way that you are going to have that energy to give out to that person when you do not have children. There's no way.
Absolutely.
You have to already have those things. You already have to have blessings. You can't go to someone that has no blessings to help you get blessed. There's no way.
True. Yep.
If that person's mind is foggy and they're a jealous person, are you going to go to them and say, well, can you help me be blessed? Can you help me know what kind of, passages to read so I can invoke blessings into my life? No, this person, the jealous person that doesn't have anything, you would actually be going backwards.
Yep.
So you have to pay attention to energy.
Yep.
You have to pay attention to that. Yeah.
That's why for me, I work with people that have been through sexual trauma growing up, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. It's been through things of that nature because that's where I come from. That's what I've overcome. Traumatic experiences, promiscuity, not appreciating who they are and really standing in their truth and what that looks like, who's afraid to come out, going through LGBTQ issues, stuff like that. That's my area of expertise. That's what I know. That's what I can do in my sleep. I know I'm very confident in
that. I do that as well. Like when it comes to being a spiritual priest, you're going to find beauty in everybody.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that you're going to deal when you become like, we don't even need to go there. You're going to have people that's going to try to bad mouth you. Like, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing. Oh, she doesn't this. She doesn't that. Why? Because they want that client. And I always tell people, I never bash my fellow spiritual practitioner. Because if that person is meant to be your client, that person is meant to be your client regardless of the fact. You don't have to bash somebody else to steal their client.
Yep. And that's how I feel too, because even when with me, if I know it's not my spirit expertise and it's yours, I'm gonna be like, yo, I have a sister, she's powerful at what she does. I know she can help you. And I pass along the person because it's gonna benefit them. It doesn't make sense that I can't help them because I don't know what the hell that situation is. I'm gonna pass them on to you. And I've done it over countless times with other people that I know, not because I don't know what I'm doing, but that's not my expertise. And you're more professional in the area. And I know that you'll help them. Their problem will be solved and you can just deal with it however you see fit. But for me to take on something that I know nothing about, like, nah, I don't care how much money it is. What happened?
They're going to think further on that, me and you.
Because, like, for me, like, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because for me, yes, Phoenix had a client for a life. Thank you, Angelique. For me, it's exceptionally important that I honor myself with the utmost integrity when it comes to what I know how to do. Exactly. And if I have a Rolodex of other people, like, for instance, when I was in public relations and social media marketing, when I knew I was being called to walk a spiritual path and do what I'm doing now, I told all my clients, I'm doing you a disservice by serving you. I can't serve you this way because my journey is somewhere else. I gave all my clients to someone else who I know that was suited for them.
Correct.
I told her, this is you. This is your clientele. I have the confidence in you that you know what you're doing. This is not for me no more. And I was like, do with it as you will. Whatever money you make, that's for you. It has nothing to do with me.
But I know exactly where you're coming from. Sorry to interrupt. But there are people that will contact you and say, well, you know what? Somebody betrayed me and I need to hurt them and do this and that. And I just want to see them suffer. I'm like, you know what? I know people that can do that for you, but unfortunately, it's not me.
Yeah. I had someone tell me that too. I had a previous client. She called me. I haven't spoken to her in a long time. And she was talking about her marital status and so on and so forth. And someone else got involved and she wanted to know how to get this person. I'm like, look, that's not my area of expertise. And even if I was, I wouldn't do that for you because then that's on me. I said, you need to figure out your shit with your husband and
Mm-hmm.
leave the other person out of it because it's between you and him. You come with your bullshit, he came with his bullshit. So y'all need to fix it now because it's your responsibility. So take accountability for that. And she didn't like the conversation. I'm like, you can't like the conversation, but at the end of the day, don't come to me thinking I'm gonna give you this potion of emotion to do something to someone else. Because guess what? That's not what we do.
Yeah, that's not what we do. It's karma's up. Karma, I'm not going to be involved in any of that. In all actuality, I remember there was a woman that wanted to break up a marriage because she was his mistress. I'm like, but I think there's children involved. Oh, well, you know, he loves me. He doesn't love her. Sweetheart, if he loved you,
he would be with you.
He would be with her. He would be with you. So you know what? Thank you, but no thank you. Mm-hmm. And the reading is done. Yeah. Because you're going to tell me, just because you're paying me for a reading, you're going to tell me what I'm going to do for you. That doesn't happen every year. Absolutely. I keep my hands clean for a reason. Mm-hmm. I want continuous blessings and generational blessings.
Absolutely.
Your business is your business. Whatever you want to do, I cannot judge you. It's the Most High that judges you. Mm-hmm. I can't judge you for what you want to do. Yeah. But that one thing for sure, I'm going to keep my hands clean. I'm a married woman. What do I look like breaking up somebody else's marriage because you're his mistress? You choose the mistress, that's your business. That's not my business. Some women do like it like that. You understand? That's great. Great. I mean, it's not my thing per se, but great. It's good for you. But don't tell me to break somebody else's marriage. And I know a lot of people that actually do that, that have done that. You understand? Yep. I know how to do that kind of work, but I'd rather not do that. Because if I break somebody else's marriage, my marriage could be.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's a consequence and a sacrifice for everything. Every action is a reaction. It is a cause and effect. So, and for me, it's like I wouldn't want nothing to happen to my spouse. I wouldn't have anything happen to my mother, people who I love and I care about.
Correct.
So that's why I don't even entertain none of that kind of stuff. If you gonna be no, ma'am, no, sir, can't do it.
Nope.
But we've come to 8:31, and I know your time is extremely importante. Don't want to hold you up, sis, but I thank you so much for coming on Ask Me Anything About Life series, and I hope that everyone was able to get something out of this because I appreciate your presence. You're an amazing gift to the world, and I celebrate everything that you're doing. And I know me and you are going to continue talking about stuff.
So much in store.
Yes, ma'am. So much I'll connect you to my homegirl that was asking the question for sure, because I think that she would really benefit from your guidance and, you know, your guidance and your wisdom and everything that she's experiencing at the moment. And it's great. So everyone can reach you at what's your website and all your social media information so people can connect with you.
www.mirchanino.com, which is MIRCHANINO.com. You can contact me through WhatsApp at 347-479-2187. Once again, that number is 347-479-2187 if you're looking to receive a reading. All right.
I just put that in the chat just now. So if you guys want a reading or to connect with Mircha, WhatsApp 347-479-2187. It's in the chat. Make sure you copy paste that bad boy, save it in your notes, put it somewhere where you can find it.
I truly appreciate everyone that came on this live to watch it. I appreciate everyone that's going to watch it afterwards. And please share it everywhere. You are so exceptional. And I know that you are going to go higher and higher in so many ways. I really, really appreciate you, sis.
Of course, you too, sis. I mean, you're such a light to the world, and you're so giving and loving. And I just felt like, you know, you just needed to be celebrated in this way, and people get to know who you are, and not only as a voodoo high priestess, but just Mircha, the spiritual being, having a human experience and how you walk your path, and to just let people know that, you know, anything they wish for is possible, but also to go back and connect with your lineage.
Right.
Because it's exceptionally important, especially that these times we need more of that going on in the world. I think it would be so much better where we are able to raise the vibration and the frequency in the planet with more light to eradicate the darkness that's going on right now. We need to uplift each other, support each other, and just be life for each other and each other's lives. It's exceptionally important right now. And I thank you for breaking down voodoo and what it is, and just actually taking away the misconception of what it is for anyone who's feeling called to it. Now they have a better understanding of what it is and what it ain't, and how to connect with you if that's the path that they choose to go down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it's in their roots and it's in their lineage, that's the best thing to do. Be yourself. Don't care about what anybody else thinks about you.
Right.
Be yourself. Stand in your truth, regardless to what it is. Regardless to what you want to be, who you like, as long as you're not disrespecting anyone or trying to hurt anyone, so mote it be. Stand in your truth.
It's absolutely, and it's just being true to who you are. I mean, I'm a person who nearly lost my life in 2011, and I was on my deathbed, shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I didn't do this and I didn't do that. And I always tell people, don't wait until you're on your deathbed. Don't wait until you're gonna take your last breath to say I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and I didn't do it. Like, if you have something you want to do, don't wait. Do it now. Don't wait. Even if you fall, you fail, guess what? You're gonna get back up any damn way.
So you don't have to get back. Yourself.
Right. So even though you're afraid, just like I said, just fuck it and jump. Just do it anyway, because you don't want to ever leave this life with regret of something that you didn't do when you were fully capable of doing it. And that's the message that I always say to people, like, just do your best and, remember who you are. Remember who you are.
Yeah. And your best is good. That's it.
But thank you, everyone. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thank you for lighting up the chat. And I thank your tribe and your community, because they were on it. They were on it.
I love them. They know I love them. Every time I do a live, I'm like, love you guys, because it's the truth. You have to show love, because no one owes you their their presence. No one owes you their attention. No one owes that to you. So once they give you that kind of energy, that love, that attention, you have to just be appreciative to the energy that they're giving you. And I truly do love everyone. I really do. I just want upgrade. They should just call me the Mambo of Upgrade, because that's what I'm about.
I'm saying, though, that needs to be a t-shirt now. Mambo of Upgrade. You need to be a t-shirt. Right. Mambo, that's a t-shirt. Hashtag it too, girl. Hashtag it. But I thank y'all for tuning in, and I hope that you were able to get something out of it. I hope that you were able to be uplifted, inspired, empowered, motivated, and all that stuff. And please, definitely, if you want to connect with Mircha, definitely connect with Mircha. She is beautiful and amazing. She has a great heart. Even though she is at her highest level right now, this woman is exceptionally humble. She's exceptionally humble, down to earth. She is very mindful and very selfless and very loving. She's not the kind of person that will lead you astray in no way, shape, or form, because she truly, truly cares about her community and the people she works with. So I can attest to it. I can attest to it. Someone said Mambo Upgrade, 100%. See, do that. All right, guys. So thank you for tuning in once again. Phoenix Gibbs here. I wish you so much love, blessings, prosperity, and abundance. And I hope that you have an amazing week. This was a good way to start off your week. If you have any questions, you can connect with me, Phoenix Gibbs, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, TikTok, all the other platforms. I am known as Author Phoenix Gibbs on all the platforms. If you want to connect with me to purchase a copy of my book, it's payhip.com/Phoenix Gibbs. It's on there, plus anything else I got going on that you would be interested in finding out more about me. It's on there as well. And if you want to come on the series, I'll be more than happy to have anyone on the series that want to talk about anything that they want to discuss, any expertise or whatever. Just come on and we can do it just like this. So I'm going to head out. I hope you guys have an amazing night and be well.